Okay, so one of my favorite pastimes in the past year has been investing. I know. I made a video about investing in 2016 on this channel, and I can't believe I haven't talked about it since then. I bet none of you guys watched that video, so I thought I would kind of redo that video and then add just new knowledge and experience about investing in stocks and crypto, just learning to grow your money and being financially savvy. Let's start with the basics. I want to recap why you should consider investing, how you can start investing, when is a good time to start investing. So why? Obviously, for me, I think it's really fun, the fact that you can grow money with money. There is a magical thing called compound interest. Basically, compound interest is the ability to earn interest on interest on interest on interest to the point where like the growth is really exponential. And it's a beautiful thing because the younger you are, the better it is to start. I wish I started investing when I was like 18. I really wish I knew more about it earlier. I started when I was, I think, 25 or 26. The basic idea is the more time you have, the more you allow your interest to grow exponentially. So time is really on your side if you are young. I don't want to scare any of you guys. It's never too late to start investing. The best time to start is now if you can. So let's move on to when you should start investing. Like I mentioned, it's great to start as soon as you can because you want to reap the benefits of like time so that you allow your interest to grow. But I understand not everyone can start early. Like I definitely couldn't have started earlier even if I wanted to because I didn't have the funds. But a good way to know when you're ready to start investing is once you've built up an emergency savings fund of about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. So if you spend about like $2,000 a month just on your regular life expenses, shopping, groceries, whatever, then you would save like 2,000 times 3 or 2,000 times 6 in your bank account. I understand that everyone has different circumstances, and obviously we're going through a pandemic still, so times are tough, I get that. But I think I'm making this video for those of you who can invest and would like to learn how to. Even if you're not ready right now, it's good to know what this is, how it works, that it exists, because you want to take advantage of it. The reality is, if you're living in the US, because of the pandemic, like the government is pumping money into the system, so inflation is going to happen. Your dollar value is decreasing as we speak, sadly. I wish I learned this concept sooner, but like you leaving your money in the bank, your money is gonna devalue over time. That money just sits there, it doesn't really grow. Maybe it grows like a tiny bit, but like not really, right? Investing is a way to not only grow your money, but to just protect yourself from inflation. Because think about it, if you let your money sit in the bank, it just becomes less and less valuable over time versus if you put it in some investments, regardless of how risky or safe they are, it's gonna have a better chance to grow, and it's just better for you. You know, I'm all about being financially savvy, having financial freedom, so I'm here to share that with you guys. So now that you know why you should invest and a little bit about when is a good time to start investing, let's talk about the how. And this is the part that, you know, I've learned a lot along the way. I started investing about 5 years ago. It's actually 4.5 years. I started after I got my first big paycheck from my YouTube career in 2016. And I also did a podcast interview with Sugar Mama who taught me about, you know, investing and how to get into it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna learn how. I say this because it's not like anyone taught me how to invest in stocks. Like my parents didn't teach me this. I kind of figured out people were doing this and I was like, okay, you know what? I think I'm ready to get into it. And I had to just like learn on my own. And of course I have to preface this whole video of I am not an expert. I'm just sharing what I've learned and my personal experience. So really do your own research. Take this with a grain of salt. First of all, let's talk about platforms. There are so many platforms out there. My personal favorite is Robinhood. I'm not sponsored in this video. I use Robinhood, I use TD Ameritrade. My portfolio is kind of split between those two, but Robinhood is my favorite platform. It's great for beginners. I recommend that one. When I was just starting, and if you watch my 2016 video, I started with robo-advisors. Basically, it is a robot that does the investment for you. All you do is put in the money and it naturally like aggregates and spreads it out for you. I did that because I didn't trust myself with picking my own stocks in the beginning, but over time I learned that it didn't perform as well as the own stocks that I picked. After experience, I just prefer to pick my own stocks now, but the platform I used for robo-advising is called Betterment. And I still use that, but only for like my retirement fund. So all my stocks are between Robinhood and TD Ameritrade. I'll link everything down below. If you are a beginner, the simplest and relatively safe thing to invest in terms of like the stock market are called index funds, and specifically the index funds for the S&P 500, meaning the top 500 companies in the US. So an index fund just aggregates like the top 500 companies. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not a professional, but just it's mixed into like this one thing that you buy. And there are multiple different ones. For example, VOO, SPY. Those are just two examples, but do your own research, pick your own index fund for the S&P 500. That is like a foolproof strategy if you're doing long-term investing. And I mean long-term, like 5 to 10 to 20 years investing that will guarantee you will make like a consistent return. This is a strategy that is promoted by like Warren Buffett, Tony Robbins. I mean, just like anyone in finance and investing knows that this is like the kind of, what's that word that I'm looking for? The dummy foolproof way to like invest. I want to clarify here that when I say investing, I'm talking about long-term investing, because in the long term, in the big picture, your money will grow. But in the short term, I'm sure that you know that the stock market goes up and down, up and down. So in the short term, it is riskier. The long term, it is safer. Another question you might have is how much money do you need to start investing? You can start investing with like $100, $50. I don't think that there are limits on these platforms anymore. I think you can really start with any amount, which is why I recommend like starting as soon as you can with even just like a small amount that you're not afraid of losing, and just like put it in there and you kind of like see it change, see it go up and down, and you learn as you go. There's also a strategy called dollar cost averaging, which just means buying at like timed intervals, meaning like either once a month, once a week, or whatever interval you choose. And that is a strategy to kind of like average the cost of the stock that you're buying, because it's going to go up and down, up and down. You can't really, if you're not a professional, it's hard to time when things are going to be down, when things are going to be up. So that's what dollar cost averaging is for. So aside from index funds, my other recommendation for you when like choosing what stocks to buy is to buy what you believe in. Buy the brands that you use, buy what you believe will be the future, what's going to grow in the future. So this is what's really fun for me, because I love spotting trends and just like putting my money in it, knowing that it's going to grow. So an example is back in 2016, like I mentioned, when I started, I put my money into a robo-advisor, letting it choose the stocks for me. I didn't really like the fact that it bought everything. Like I couldn't choose what to not buy. So it bought stocks like gas and oil that I don't personally believe in. So I made another account on a platform where I got to choose the stocks that I wanted to buy. So I bought everything that I used. So when I was choosing what to buy, I was choosing with the mindset of, okay, I'm a content creator. I believe that content creating, this industry is only gonna grow. It was 2016 at the time. I was like, it's only gonna grow, so let me like buy the stocks in all the companies related to a content creator's business. So brands like Apple, Google, Facebook, Sony, Canon, all these camera companies, Netflix, Tesla, all these like tech, social media related companies. And that portfolio did a lot better than the robo-advisor did. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it myself. Like when I started the Lavendaire shop, I launched it on Shopify, and so I bought stocks in Shopify, and these are stocks that have grown a lot, you know, in the past few years. And it's all about just like buying what you use and what you love and what you believe will grow. I can't forget to tell you that the number one rule in investing is to diversify. Diversify your portfolio, meaning don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you're gonna invest, don't invest all your money into one thing. Spread it out so that you kind of protect yourself a little bit. Because if you invest everything in one thing, if it goes down, you lose a lot. But if you invest in multiple things that you believe in, then even if one goes down, like everything else kind of balances it out. So it's a little bit more safe that way. So now let's talk about crypto, because I'm sure a lot of you have questions about it. I am not an expert, but I've been like researching and learning more about the space. I've been investing in the space, and it's been really fun because it's a lot more complex and intricate than investing in stocks, because there's so many different platforms and there's a lot going on. Crypto to me is such an interesting space because if you learn and read about it, you just know like this is the future. This is where we're headed. No doubt about it. We're never going backwards. So it's funny because things take time. So I think I learned about it in like 2017. My brother's in tech, so he told me about Bitcoin. I casually invested in it in 2018 when there was like the first craze and it got super mainstream. Obviously, like it came back down and I lost money, but it's okay, whatever. And I started investing in crypto again end of last year, so around December. And if you guys look at the charts, like it's grown so much since December. I wish I could go back in time to 2020 and invest more, but you know what? You can't go back in time. We can only move forwards. Another fun thing that I want to bring up here, and some of you watching might think I'm crazy or woo-woo, but like astrology has influenced me and inspired me in terms of like where to look at for the trends and what to consider investing in. So I'm not sure if you guys knew, but like December 21st, 2020 was a very special date in astrology. It was when Saturn and Jupiter aligned in the sign of Aquarius. And long story short, Saturn and Jupiter align every, I don't know, like 80 years. And in the past 200 years, it was aligning in earth signs. So previously, like last year, Saturn was in Capricorn and then it moved into Aquarius. And Capricorn is an earth sign. The past 200 years have been in earth signs. And now everything has started since December to go into air signs. So earth sign means like material things, real estate, industrialization, like just physical stuff. Our material world is all earth signs. And that is the stuff that grew and boomed in the past 200 years, right? Land, real estate, capitalism, imperialism, conquering land, acquiring resources. That is earth sign, okay? So now that the Saturn and Jupiter have met in Aquarius, an air sign, for the first time in 200 years, it symbolizes like the trend of the next 200 years. Everything is going to be in air signs, meaning things that are intangible, immaterial, things like intelligence, crypto, the internet. Obviously, we see the internet, everything, the cloud, it's only going to keep growing. AI, like intellectual property, things like of the mind, things that are intangible. That is the future. And I'm sure like talking about it, it makes a lot of sense. We all know that we're headed in that direction, but it's like the astrological signifier that we have entered this era, which is why that I think this boom in crypto has become more mainstream. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like all the major banks, Goldman Sachs, whatever, they are all like talking about Bitcoin. They're all opening up Bitcoin to their investors. These organizations are applying to create Bitcoin ETFs, which are like index funds, kind of like what I was talking about earlier. Basically, there's a lot of movement and mainstream stuff going on in crypto to the point where it's kind of like it is here. It's not going away. We can't ignore it any longer. Obviously, there's still a lot to learn, so I'm not going to give any advice on what I buy or anything. I'll list below like the platforms that I use, but I'm still like just testing all these platforms out. So I really can't, I don't want to say anything. I want you guys to do your own research and do your own learning. So anyway, the reason why I went on that astrology tangent was just to explain that since I knew that was happening, I chose to invest in more air sign related companies. My last tip for when you're researching crypto, don't just look at them as currencies, but actually research like what this platform is and what it does, what they're aiming to do, and also look at who's backing this platform. So if there's a crypto platform that's backed by really big organizations like Coinbase or the Winklevoss twins, like I would trust that because I believe in, if those people believe in it, it has that much money behind it, like I believe in it. Another thing, like I was mentioning earlier, is to invest in the platforms that you believe in, meaning like you actually would use and enjoy and are excited about their concept, because you want to believe in what you invest in. You don't want to just like pick something and put your money there. Like it has to make sense, right? So an example is yesterday I was learning and researching on the new like decentralized video platforms. So there's one called Livepeer, there's one called Theta. I was actually watching like a YouTube presentation of the CTO of Lavendaire. He was explaining how they were building a new efficient, cheaper platform to do video streaming. And obviously I'm interested in video like YouTube and Twitch. And so right now, video is very expensive to stream because of like the traditional model, and they're building stuff that's cheaper, faster, better. It's decentralized, meaning it's not one company or one hub doing it. It's a network of computers working together to make it happen, which I think is the future and I think is interesting. So once I was like, oh my God, I believe in that. I want to put my money to that. That's my thought process behind how I decide to invest in something. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Again, I'm just sharing my personal experience, and this is genuinely something that I've been really passionate and excited about. And it felt a little like off tangent to share this on my channel, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? There's people that are gonna be interested and curious about this. So I'm just gonna put it out there. Judge me for the astrology parts if you want, but I'm gonna do me. You know what? Like my brother and Wilson were judging me the whole time in December. I'm like, put your money in crypto, air sign, we're in Aquarius, put your money in Aquarius things. And they regretted it because they're like, you know what? I should listen to you. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.